Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Sports Sphere. Tole here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Really looking forward to this one. We've got some NHL Round 2 playoff review for all the series here. So let's get into it. Starting off in the Eastern Conference. Hurricanes make NHL history with sweep of Flyers in Round 2. Jackson Blake scored .528 into overtime for his second of the game. Logan Stankoven also scored in regulation. The Carolina Hurricanes finished a 4-game sweep with a 3-2 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight season. Freddie Anderson made 15 saves for Carolina, which has not lost in 8 playoff games. Alex Bump and Tyson Forster scored for the Flyers. Blake's shot from the slot bounced off Dan Vladar's glove and over the goal line. Vladar stopped 37 shots for Philadelphia. Carolina will play the Montreal Canadiens in the Eastern Conference Final after the NHL's first 8-0 start in the playoffs since 1985. The Hurricanes, who reached the Eastern Conference Final for the third time in 4 years, are looking for their first Stanley Cup since 2006. Carolina is the 24th team in league history to win 8 or more consecutive games during a playoff run. 18 of them have won the Stanley Cup. Philadelphia scored 5 goals over the 4 games. Stankoven's 7th tally of the playoffs, 4:13 into the third period, gave Carolina a 2-1 lead after he finished a beautiful cross-ice pass from Hall with a one-timer from just outside of the crease. Philadelphia evened the score 1:39 later when Bump shot past Anderson's glove side from the slot after a setup from Travis Konechny from behind the net. Blake tied it at 1-1 with 7:25 remaining in the second, when his wrist shot from along the boards went off Philadelphia defenseman Jamie Drysdale and past Vladar. Canadiens top Sabres in Game 7 advanced to Eastern Conference Final. First, Tampa Bay, now Buffalo. Montreal Canadiens forward Alex Newhook keeps coming up big in Game 7s, this time 11:22 into overtime, in the 3-2 win over the Sabres on Monday night. After Buffalo's Tage Thompson and captain Rasmus Dahlin misplayed the puck at Montreal's blue line, defenseman Alex Carrier drove up the right wing before sending a cross-ice pass, hitting Newhook in stride, entering the Buffalo zone, and with linemate Jake Evans flashing in front of goalie Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Newhook snapped a shot just inside the far right post. It was his team-leading 7th goal of the postseason and followed his behind-the-net goal with 8:53 left in regulation that broke a 1-1 tie in Montreal's 2-1 win in Game 7 of its first round series at Tampa Bay. Newhook is now among only 14 NHL players with 2 career game-winning goals in Game 7, with Boston's Nathan Horton 2011 the only other one to do so in a single postseason. Montreal won despite squandering a 2-0 first-period lead, with Dahlin forcing overtime by scoring 6:27 into the third period. They improved to 17-9 in Game 7s, passing Boston for most 7th game victories in the NHL playoffs. The Canadiens advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they'll face the well-rested Hurricanes in a series set to open at Carolina on Thursday. Philippe Danault and Zachary Bolduc also scored for the Canadiens. Jakub Dobej finished with 37 saves. Dobej improved to 6-0 this postseason when coming off a loss. Jordan Greenway also scored for Buffalo, while Luukkonen finished with 22 saves. Buffalo dropped to 1-7 in Game 7, including 1-3 in overtime. The Sabres entered their offseason following a breakout year in which they won their first Atlantic Division title and ended an NHL record 14-season playoff drought. Buffalo's turnaround began in December when the team went from last in the East standings to finish second by going 39-9-5 over its final 53 games. The Sabres' first round win over Boston was their first since 2007. Taking it to the Western Conference, the Avalanche stunned the Wild with late comeback to win Game 5 and take the series. The Avalanche end a series at home for the first time in 18 years. Colorado scored .852 into overtime after Nathan MacKinnon tied it late in regulation. The Avalanche advanced to the Western Conference Final with a 4-3 victory over the Minnesota Wild in Game 5 on Wednesday night. Kulak capped a Wild comeback for the Avalanche, who trailed 3-0 midway through the second period. Colorado moves on to the conference final for an 8th time since relocating to Denver in 1995-96. The Avalanche will face the Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Final. Jack Drury scored with 3:33 remaining to set the stage for Nathan MacKinnon's goal with 1:23 left. The star forward sent a shot from the left side past Minnesota Wild goalie Jesper Wallstedt and into a small space in the top left corner. In overtime, Marty Necas took the puck, glided behind the net, and back out front, where he found an open Kulak. Without missing a stride, Kulak lined it past Wallstedt. Kulak was one of several late additions this season as he joined the Avalanche on February 24th as part of a deal that sent Samuel Girard to Pittsburgh. Kulak became the 16th Avalanche player to score in the Minnesota series. He was also an unlikely OT hero. This was his first goal since January 19th. Which was also his only goal of the regular season. It was a rare series-ending win at home for Colorado. The last time the Avalanche won a series on home ice was 2008 against the Wild. Marcus Johansson scored 34 seconds into the game, and Nick Foligno added 2 goals to give the Wild a 3-0 lead after the first period. Golden Knights eliminate Ducks, advance to Western Conference Final. Mitch Marner scored a tremendous goal 62 seconds after the opening faceoff. Pavel Dorofeev scored twice in the third period, and the Vegas Golden Knights cruised into the Western Conference Final with a 5-1 victory over the Anaheim Ducks in Game 6 of the second round Thursday night. Brett Howden scored his third shorthanded goal of the playoffs, and Shea Theodore got a power play goal during a 3-0 first period for the Golden Knights, who reached the third round of the NHL postseason for the first time since they won their lone Stanley Cup championship in 2023, and for the 5th time in this expansion franchise's 9 seasons of existence. Marner played a role in all 3 of Vegas's first period goals while raising his NHL leading playoff point total to 18, and Game 5 overtime goal scorer Dorofeev put the game away with a huge third period. Carter Hart made 31 saves. Vegas will face an exponentially bigger challenge in the Colorado Avalanche, who won the President's Trophy. Michael Granlund scored a power play goal for the Ducks, whose return from a 7-year playoff drought ended when their young roster was unable to match the veteran Knights' playoff poise in 3 losses over the final 4 games. Lucas Dostal stopped 16 shots for Anaheim. Marner set the tone for Game 6 very early. William Karlsson found Marner behind the defense at the blue line. Marner fought off Jackson Lacombe, got turned around only to flip a shot between his legs, and passed Dostal for his 7th goal of the postseason and 5th of the series. 8 minutes after Marner's opening goal, he found an unmarked Howden for his 8th goal and the Knights' NHL best 4th short-handed goal of the postseason. Theodore then got a long shot through Marner's screen and over Dostal's shoulder just 5 seconds into a power play. Troy Terry found Granlund for the Finns' 5th goal of the playoffs in the second period, but Dorofeev got his 8th goal of the postseason early in the third after John Carlson's giveaway. Dorofeev added another with 6:28 to play, giving him 5 goals in the past 4 games. That'll do it for episode 8 of Sports Sphere. Tole Kakalechis here. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everyone.